So number 1 says grapes cost $1.99 per pound. Write and solve an equation that tells me how many pounds of grapes you bought if you spent $7.96.
Equals 199.
Okay, so 796 equals 199x. How do I solve that?
Divide by
199. So x equals 4. Very good. So for number 1, you should have gotten that equation and then x equals 4.
How come it took on your dress?
Because I can't. Yeah, that's where my pants are, and I can't hook it to my dress because there's nowhere to hook on my dress.
You didn't even do number 1?
Okay, number 2. Today's temperature is 3 degrees warmer than yesterday's temperature. Yesterday's temperature is represented by T. So T, right, solve an equation. So we know it equals 71. If we're warmer, are we adding or subtracting? We are warmer, so we are adding to our temperature of 3. How do we solve that then? Subtract 3. That's why you guys were thinking subtract, because the answer is 71 minus 3. And what is 71 minus 3? 68. So T equals 68 degrees. Okay. Okay, so number 3, we're given Q times P. If Q is 1, P is 5. 1 times 5 is 5. Everybody should have gotten 5 for number 3. It should have been the easiest question on your test. For number 4, Q plus P. 1 and 5. 1 plus 5 is 6. Alright, number 5 is where we start getting into solving some equations. So, no, you just have to solve it. Alright, so how do I get rid of this 9? Subtract 9, negative 12 minus 9 is... Alright, number 6, we add 1/4, and we add 1/4. Okay, what has to be the same in order to add fractions? Okay, is our bottom number the same, our denominator the same? No, okay, so what do I need to multiply 4 by to make it 8? 2 and 2, 1 times 2 is 4 times 2 is 8, because I knew I needed to make it 8, so I knew 4 times 2 would make 8. So then instead of adding 1/4, we're adding 2 8s, and 7 plus 2 is 9, so I get 9 over 8, which is the same thing as 1 and 1/8. So you could either have 9/8 or you could have 1 and 1/8. Okay, yeah, that's okay. Just means it's you reduced your fraction. So either 9/8 or 1 and 1/8 on number 6. Any questions on number 6? Okay, number 7, 35 equals 5x. How do I solve that? Divide by 5. Very good, so x equals 7. Any questions on number 7? Okay. Why did I do that? It was a coincidence. Alright, number 8, negative 30 equals n over 3. How do I solve this? So n equals negative 90. Alright. Niles, you're up. Number 9, k over 5 minus 6 equals 2. How do I solve that? Okay, so I'm going to add 6 first. So k over 5 equals, what's 2 plus 6? Okay, then what? So I multiply by 5. So what does k equal? 40. Very good. That's lucky. That doesn't usually work. Here's that work. Alright. Time, you're up. You're gonna help me with number 10. What do I do first? Okay, so I'm going to combine my like terms. What's 7 minus 19? Negative 12x. Very good. So negative 12x equals 24. So I divide by negative 12. Very good. So x equals negative 2. Woo! Alright. Claudia, you're up. Okay. So this is like a 1a, and then we add 1a. Okay, so negative 3 plus 7 equals 3 plus 1 is 4a. Okay, what's negative 3 plus 7? Okay, so 4 equals 4a. So Connie, what do I do last? Divide it. Okay, so Connie, what does a equal? Yay! Alright, Taylor, you want to help me out with number 12? Distribute. Okay, so negative 1 times x is negative 1x. Negative 1 times a negative 4 becomes 4. So plus 4 equals 2x plus 6. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 6. Okay, 4 minus 6 is negative 2, so negative 1x minus 2. Okay, so what do I do? Add 1x. 2 plus 1 is 3. So x equals negative 2 over 3. You can just leave it as a fraction, or you can write it as a decimal, which would be negative 0.6 repeating. Alright, so any questions on solving equations? That's sort of the bulk of Algebra 1. Okay.
So will you have the other kids next to you?
Maybe. Alright, number 13. Who's going to help me out with number 13? Tana. Okay. What? Okay, so I'm going to solve for base. I need to get rid of mx. How do I do it?
Subtract mx. Y minus mx.
Very good. So y minus mx equals b. That one sometimes throws people off because there's no numbers, so we just focus on what we're trying to solve for. Alright, Claudia, I know you are eager, so you can help me with number 14. What do we do to solve for n? Times it by 360. So what does n equal? Okay, c times 360 or 360c. You can write it like that. You can write it 360 times c. You can write it as c times 360. All of them mean the same thing. Okay, that works. All of them mean the same thing. Yes, very good. Since we have absolute value, we're going to have two equations. Okay, my first equation, remember with absolute value, you have to get your absolute value bars by themselves. Are my absolute value bars by themselves? Yes. Okay, so we can break it into my two equations. You always have two equations for absolute value. Yep, first equation, everything stays the same. Second equation, your answer turns to negative. So with absolute value, you will always have two solutions. Then you switch it to positive. Okay, so how do I finish solving this for x?
No, you add it. Or wait, no, or subtract 6. Yeah.
Subtract 6, there we go. So I'm going to subtract 6. Okay, 21 minus 6 is 15. Negative 21 minus 6 is negative 27. So you should have gotten 15 and negative 27 for number 15. Do we have any questions on number 15? I'm sorry. Review can be kind of boring, but it's worth it in the end. Twice a semester. Once a semester. She'll have one now. Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay.
And we have quarters. There's 4 quarters is 1 semester. So think of it as quarters like that you pay for. And if you have 2 of them, you have 50 cents, which is almost $1. And $1 makes up a year.
Yep. Okay. So number 16, what's my first step? You're going to subtract 4. You're trying to get your absolute value bars by themselves. So we have to subtract 4. So I get 3 times the absolute value of y equals 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm still trying to get my absolute value bars by themselves, so what do I do next?
Subtract 3. Or, I mean,
Divide by 3, okay. So absolute value of y equals 0 divided by 3?
0.
Okay, so now that my absolute value bars are by themselves, I break it into my 2 solutions. So what are my solutions? 0 and 0. Exactly. So you can't have a negative 0, so it's just 0 and 0, which is the same thing. Okay, so are we good on 16? Yes. Alright, 17. Very good. We subtract 2 because we're trying to get our absolute value by itself. So absolute value of x plus 6 equals 1 minus 2 is negative 1 is my absolute value by itself. Yes. Okay, so I can break it into my 2 solutions. Kyan, what's my first solution?
X plus 6.
Okay, Niles, what's my second solution?
X plus 1.
X plus 6 equals positive 1. Okay. So how do I finish solving that then, Niles?
Oh, 3 minus 6.
Minus 6. Okay, negative 1 minus 6 is? Negative 7. 1 minus 6 is? Negative 5. So you should get negative 7 and negative 5 to be your solutions. So we got an absolute value, or any of the previous 17 questions. Yes? Okay, that was all chapter 1, so now let's get into unit 2. Unit 2 starts on number 18 where we're describing the solution for each inequality. Notice it says describe the solution to the inequality. It does not say solve the inequality. There is a difference. So if I'm going to describe the solution, that means I'm going to put this in words. So how do I put this in words? Okay, what symbol is this?
Less than or equal to.
Okay, so less than or equal to what?
9.
Very good. So it asks you to describe the solution. All it's asking you to do is put it in words. So 3 plus x, oh, I forgot my is less than or equal to 9.
Oh, for the numbers.
Yep, spell the numbers now.
Oh, wow.
So on number 19, how do I put that in words? 2p is greater than 8. Very good. All right. You can just put 2p. Okay, so let's review our inequality symbols. You might want to put these on your note card for your test. Then you need to go grab one. Yes. Yes. And you can make a note card, so I recommend you grab one and get started right now, because I'm telling you the first thing that should go on your note card. Niles, get your butt off the chair, go grab a note card so you can write this down.
That's why you hear on the video.
Okay. Alright, what inequality symbol do I have first? Less than or equal to. Okay, what about the next one? Less than. Okay, those are the first two for your note card. What's the next one? Greater than or equal to. And the last one? Greater than. We should all know what our inequality symbols mean. So if we don't, we should have this written down on our note card. We'll write it down anyways. Niles, write this down. Write it down anyways. What I have written in red on the board right now needs to be written on your note card. Try to write small and neat so you can read it tomorrow.
Wait, are we able to
On Friday.
back?
Yes.
You're the best, man. That's the only feature that I would ever have. You're like a big best.
It's not huge, but it covers the whole year.
My goodness.
I'm gonna fill 8th grade.
I know, I'm gonna fail.
Fail in this species.
I'm going to fail 8th grade. Alright, so if we look at number 20, we're going to start graphing our inequalities. We're going to graph on a number line, and it's going to be very specific. I want you to put the number you're graphing, which in this case is -3, in the middle of your number line. I then want you to put two numbers on each side of your number line. So -2, -1. Very good. So your number should be in the middle, and you should have two numbers on each side of it. So then we look at my inequality symbol. If I look at my inequality symbol, what inequality symbol is this?
Less than or greater than.
Greater than, okay. Is it going to be an open circle or closed circle on my graph? Open. Okay, then am I going to go to the left or the right? Very good. So your graph should look like this.
I remember this.
Yeah.
So then, our high school, so we get 1 credit for this.
Mm-hmm.
So then my high school, none of the other elementary like, what? That's cool.
Okay. Number 21. P is less than or equal to 4. So 4 goes in the middle. So then 5 and 6 go on the other side, 3 and 2. And what inequality symbol is that? Less than or equal to, so it's an open circle or closed circle. Okay, it's a closed circle because it includes that line underneath. This line underneath tells me it's a closed circle, and then going to the left or the right? Left. Very good, my arrow goes to the left. Seven. Okay, I look at 22. I am writing an inequality shown by the graph. Your variable always has to go on the left. So what letter do we want to use for our variable? P? Okay, so P. Okay, then we have our number that we're graphing. We are obviously graphing the number 0. Last thing I look at is my inequality. It's greater than. Do I include the line underneath?
No.
No, why not?
Because it's not a closed circle.
Very good, because it's not a closed circle. So P is greater than 0. Remember, your variable always goes on the left, so you always start with your variable. On 23, what letter do we want to use for our variable?
T.
M, okay. And we're graphing the number 2. Am I going to use a less than or greater than? Okay, am I going to include the line underneath? Very good, so less than or equal to. So M is less than or equal to 2. So any questions on writing inequalities from graphs? No, okay. Alright, 24 then. We're solving inequalities and we're graphing their solution. So t plus 3 is less than 10. How do I get rid of a plus 3? We solve these just like equations. No, you take a test on Friday. 10 is minus 3 is 7. Okay, so then if I put it on a number line, what number goes in the middle? 7. 8. Okay, am I going to have an open circle or closed circle? Am I going to go to the left or right? To the left. Very good. Why?
Okay, cool. I'm here.
We're like halfway done for today. Alright, so negative 1 is less than m plus 1. What do I do first? Subtract 4, right? We have to subtract 4 to get the m by itself. So m, or negative 5 is less than m. Can I graph it like this? No, what do I have to do?
You gotta turn it around.
You have to turn it around. Very good. So m is greater than negative 5.
Now you can graph it.
Now we can graph it.
The negative 4. Negative 3. Oh, I thought you were going to.
There you go. Negative 4, negative 3, negative 6, negative 7. Open
So it
circle.
goes to the right.
Okay, is it an open circle or closed?
Or closed. Or open.
Open circle. Open circle. Okay, so any questions on 25?
No.
Alright, 26. W minus 3 is greater than or equal to 6.5. What do we do?
Subtract
Plus.
or add 3.
What's 6.5 plus 3? 9.5. Very good. So W is greater than 9.5.
10. 9.5.
Just 10.
Oh yeah, and then 10.5.
And then 11.
Oh.
And then 9 and 8. You could have gone by 0.5s. You could have done 10.5. That would have been fine. Okay, open circle or closed circle?
What?
Open circle or closed circle? Left or right?
Right.
Okay. So any questions on that page? Okay. We're getting close. We're close to being done for today. 3a is less than or equal to 15. What do I do? Divide by 3, divide by 3. So what do I get? Yay. Okay. You guys know how to graph, so we're not going to bother graphing these ones. Alright, so t over 4 is greater than 2.
T is less than 8. Greater than 6.
8. 2 times 4 is 8.
I told you we're all tired.
Alright. Number 29. Notebooks cost $1.39 each. What are the possible number of notebooks? Okay, $1.39 and
Then divide by $1.
has to be less than 10.
I put my $1.39.
Oh, X has to be the $1.39. Alright, and then divide by $1.39.
That equals n is 7.
Less than 7. Again.
Well, let's see that.
Oh, I don't know what you did. So you can purchase less than 7 notebooks.
You want to know why is less than
Week. I know, it's crazy. Alright, number 30. 3x plus 4 is less than 19. Minus 4. So 3x is less than,
Divided by 5.
I don't know what I'm writing. Divided by 3. Divided by 3. So x is less than 5.
Scale we're making you add 5.
Let's add 5. Nope, we had 5. So 2t is greater than or equal to 7 plus 5 is 12. Now what?
So t equals, and then I have to switch it.
So 6 is less than or equal to t, so then I switch it so t is greater than or equal to 6. I wouldn't call that perfect.
Literally, mine would be like this.
Alright, 32. You ready for 32? Multiply by 2. No.
Plus 3. Now you subtract. Yeah.
What's negative 8? What's negative 8 minus 3?
Negative 11.
Negative 11.
Literally, my answer.
You're really close. It'll be okay.
It happened to me before.
Alright, so any questions on that page? Everybody got all that from that page? Yes. Okay. Alright. 33, 5 plus 2m is less than negative 3m. What do I do? Subtract 2m.
I thought it was 5. Oh, yeah.
So 5 is less than what? What's negative 3 minus 2? Negative 5m. Okay, now what?
Divide by 5. Negative 5.
Divide by negative 5. Okay, so then m, you're right, we have to flip this, because when you divide by negative, you flip your inequality. 5 divided by negative 5 is negative 1, so I get negative 1 is greater than m. Am I done?
Yes.
You have to flip it so your variable's on the left, so m is less than negative 1.
Divide by negative.
Yep, if you divide or multiply by a negative, you flip your inequality. If you divide or multiply by a negative, you have to flip your inequality. That might be something to write on your note card.
So,
If you divide or multiply by a negative,
if you divide or multiply by negative, you have to flip the inequality.
yep,
Why is it so sunny out? It's gonna be a good day.
Niles, did you get that down on your note card?
I wish I was in quality.
If you divide, divide
or multiply equal
or multiply
by a negative and equal. You have to flip the inequality.
Yeah.
Right questions. You have 2 minutes left. 3.
Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I have 15 minutes left. Alright, 34, 4c minus 7 is greater than or equal to 9c plus 8. I add 4, 7.
Okay, first.
I add 7, okay. 4c is greater than or equal to 9c. 8 plus 7 is
56. Just kidding. 15. What do you want?
15. Now what do I do?
You would get rid of that, you would subtract. Negative 5.
Now what?
3 divided by negative 5. And then you split the inequality because it's by negative.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what do I get?
Negative 3.
Very good. So C is less than or equal to negative 3.
I got the same thing, but I
was really freaking out too. I was like, oh, we have 1 minute left. What are you trying to get? No solution.
Alright, 35. D minus 2 is less than D minus 4. What do I do first?
Wait, I don't get this. Practice final, final exam, I see it. Grades due, study for finals.
That's for pre-calc. They have different finals on Friday and Monday. Mine is the only final they're taking Wednesday. That's why. Alright, so if I add 2, I get D is less than D, what's negative 4 plus 2? Negative 2, so D minus 2. Okay, now what?
You get rid of the D.
Okay, so subtract 1 D. These are, remember, like 1 D's because they don't have numbers in front of them. So then this is 0, so 0 is less than negative 2. Is 0 less than negative 2?
No.
No. So then you're right, it's no solution. So if you end up with no variable, like in this case where we had no letters left, it's either all solutions or no solutions. So any questions on 35? Okay. 36, what do I do?
You distribute.
Okay, 3 times W is, 3 times 1 is,
3.
okay, so 3W plus 1 is greater than 3W minus
Get
3.
rid of 3W.
Okay,
Then you add 3W, or minus 6. Yeah. So then, that's gonna be no solution.
so then I end up with 1 is greater than negative 3. Is 1,
Like you don't have variables.
so it's either no solutions or all solutions. And is 1 greater than negative 3? Yes, so then it's all solutions. In a minute, yeah. Alright, 37, we're finally into compound inequalities. Yay, a compound inequality is where you have 2 inequalities in your problem. And when that happens, you only look at the middle part. So if I'm going to solve that, how do I get rid of this plus 6? Subtract 6. Where do I subtract 6 at? 10 and negative 4, so everywhere. You subtract 6 everywhere. So if I bring down my inequality symbols, negative 4 minus 6 is
Or negative 10.
negative 10. 10 minus 6 is 4. So I end up with negative 10 is less than t is less than 4. So compound inequality means you have a variable inside 2 different equalities, so kind of like a sandwich. Like those bologna sandwiches you eat at ICU.
they have like
Okay. 38. It probably is mayonnaise. 38. Negative 3 plus r is greater than 4. R plus 1 is less than negative 1. Okay, this is another type of compound inequality. So we deal with these in 2 pieces. So then I add 3. Okay, 4 plus 3 is 7. So if r is greater than 7, or
You add 1 or
subtract
subtract 1.
1. So r is less than
Negative 2.
negative 2. So r is greater than 7, or r is less than negative 2.
Wait, what about that?
38.
What was the one before this?
37.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So 39 says one day the high temperature was 84 degrees Fahrenheit and the low temperature was 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Write a compound inequality to represent the day's temperature. A compound inequality is where you have a variable in between two inequalities. So you know right away that you're going to have something that looks like that. We'll get there. We also know our high temperature was what?
84.
84. Bigger number goes on the right. So 84. What was our low temperature, Kayam? Never mind, 68. Can we equal those numbers?
No.
Can our temperature equal 68?
Yeah.
Yes, our temperature can equal 68. Can our temperature equal 84?
Yeah.
Yes, so we would use less than or equal to symbols.
How would it not equal?
Because you can have, it said the low temperature was 68, which means it hit 68.
But it could be equal to like the temperature that it is.
But like if we had, say it said the low temperature, the high temperature is 84, and we had like 85 here, it obviously couldn't equal 85 because it only got as hot as 84. So that's why you would use these, because it did equal 84. It equaled 68, it equaled 84.
It can equal those.
Okay. Alright,
40.
just a couple more. We're back to in absolute values. So 11 times the absolute value of x minus 7 is less than or equal to 15. We need to get this by itself. So I'm going to add 7. So 11 absolute value of x is less than or equal to 22. Now what? I'm still trying to get this by itself. So divide by 11. Divide by 11. So absolute value of x is less than or equal to what? 2. Okay. Kyan, how many answers do absolute value equations have? 2. Okay, so I know I'm going to have 2 solutions. The first one, everything stays the same. So x is less than or equal to 2. The second one, everything changes. So x is greater than or equal to negative 2. So remember, yep, those are your answers. Absolute value equations always have 2 answers. Alright, so number 41. Absolute value of x plus 4 is greater than 8. Is my absolute value by itself? Yes, so let's write our 2 solutions. First one, everything stays the same, right?
Yeah.
Okay, what happens on the second one?
Then I flip the inequality.
Okay, so I flip my inequality sign, and what happens to my 8?
Negative.
It becomes negative 8. So now I can solve those. So how do I solve those?
You subtract 4.
Okay, what is 8 minus 4?
4.
4. Okay, what's negative 8 minus 4?
Negative 12.
Negative 12, very good. So I end up with 4 and negative 12.
I don't know why I always want to put.
And any questions on 41? Okay.
Ow!
Alright, 42. The water depth for a pool is set to 6 feet, but the actual depth of the pool may vary by as much as 4 inches. Write and solve an absolute value inequality to find the range of possible water depths in inches. So, is less than or equal to 6. You can have up to 6 feet of water, which means you have to have less than or equal to 6 feet of water in your pool, and it can change by as much as 4, and it told you that you were using an absolute value inequality. It tells you that in the problem to use absolute values. So then if I break this into my 2 solutions, what's my first one say? I need my solutions first.
Oh, it's less than or equal to.
Okay, what's my second one? So now we can solve them. So how did you say we solve them? Subtract 4, subtract 4, subtract 4. So
6 minutes. Take a bath.
6 minus 4 is
Or,
2. Negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. Okay, so this is as far as we are going today. We will finish the rest of the problems tomorrow. You will take your final on Friday.